Hey guys, what's up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. Man, we have quite the update to go over today. Tesla ending the day at $639. At some point, I think at the lowest point, it was down about 10%. So I want to talk about, what we can expect, what I've personally been doing regarding this, and yeah, all that good stuff. So if you guys enjoyed, don't forget to hit that like button, ladies and gentlemen, but let's just jump right into it. So an absolutely bloodbath of a day in the market today. I mean, again, it's not like it's Tesla, right? Like everything is just getting absolutely decimated. Like the QQQ is down 4%. So Tesla being down 8.5% to the QQQ being down 4% is essentially more or less in line, which makes sense. Now, I personally view this as a fantastic opportunity. Again, like whenever people are like screaming and going crazy or like panicking or whatever, I just view it as opportunity personally. I don't like I try to avoid getting as much emotions into this as much as I can, which is why I only focus on Tesla, because I don't get emotional, like I don't panic essentially. Anyway, the point is the fact that remember when we bounced over here and I said how I'm like I still wouldn't be surprised if we at some point revisit like 625 ish or something like that, like give or take, to get like a true double bottom roughly. And then we kind of kept rallying, which was good. Don't get me wrong, this could have been something, but obviously, we didn't break out fully yet. And we were still underneath some averages. We were still underneath the, the white line and the Bollinger Band, etc., which I'll show you guys here, right? We were still like getting rejected by it. So I was saying how it was a good sign, but stay cautious. I also talked about the VIX for obvious reasons. This was one of the things that was kind of making me, extra worried. So that kind of played out. Again, it was tough to say which direction we'll go for sure, but clearly the market decided, right? But that's why, you don't want to be too greedy, which I wasn't. And thankfully I had, cash ready to buy. So I've personally been buying and I've been selling puts. Anyways, what can we expect? Well, personally, I'm actually pretty okay with this move. Again, it's a pretty brutal day just because mainly it happens all in one go. In my opinion, I'd rather have that than like a slow bleed out. I'd rather just get it, rip the band-aid off, just get the 10% out in a single day as opposed to like, 3% roughly over 3 days, give or take. You know what I'm saying? So I'm okay with this. But the most important part is the fact that we got the double bottom bounce pretty much exactly more or less how we wanted to see it, which is great. Right, I did want to see the double bottom bounce again around that 625 level, and that's essentially what we got. It could have went a little bit lower, maybe 620 almost, but nonetheless, it's close enough. We got to 625, pretty much 626, which is extremely close to the 623-ish level that this went down to before it bounced. Right, so you can see essentially as we fell out of this yellow line, which we were in, this kind of little mini channel that we were in over here, the yellow lines, we kind of continued falling pretty aggressively. But that's just kind of how it goes. But again, the most important part for me at the moment is the fact that not only do we get the double bottom bounce, or not only do we get the double bottom, but we bounced off of it. That to me so far is extremely key. So we went all the way down to 625 and now we ended at 640. It's a 15-point bounce off of that, which let's just check to see what percentage of a bounce is. I think it's like a 1.5% maybe, give or take. So from there to here, we bounced about 2% actually, which is good. That's a good sign. I'm actually pretty okay with that for now, at least. Now, the most important thing that I want to see continuing into tomorrow, keep in mind, guys, again, Monday is another day off of the market. The markets are closed on this coming Monday. And tomorrow is quad witching day, where essentially it's just so many options are pretty much expiring tomorrow. Just like a very heavy options expiration date. So there could be volatility. It doesn't mean it'll be a bad thing or a good thing. It means most likely there will be some extra volatility. But nonetheless, the point is the fact that I'm okay with seeing this. I'm very happy with seeing this. I'm not complaining about this at all. I'm going to remove this for now. I'm not complaining about it at all. I'm happy to see the double bottom bounce. I'm happy to see it actually bounce from that. And I pretty much, again, my key level at the moment is 620 to make it easy. I don't want to see 620 break. If 620 ever breaks, again, and doesn't recuperate within like literally 5 to 10 minutes max, in my opinion, could be bad. That could be bad. That, in my opinion, would be a red flag. And to me, if that happens, we're easily collapsing to 600 at the very least, minimum. So that's just something to keep in mind. But if that were to happen, that alone will already be like a 3.5% drop, just that, right? So that's really, really important to keep in mind. But as long as we're above about that 620, 625-ish range, and as long as we don't lose that, I'm still hopeful for a double bottom bounce. Now, again, I also want to make this extremely crystal clear as absolute possible. Even if we get a bounce from here, even if this is the short-term bottom, even if that's the case, and let's say the next like 2 weeks is just green, even if that happens, that in my opinion, I personally still believe that will more than not be a more likely than not be a bear market rally. And I don't think that that necessarily means that the bottom is in and we'll never see these levels ever again. I just want to make that as crystal clear as possible, so that you definitely don't want to get, if assuming we just go up from here, don't get your hopes up too hard. Of course, make some money off of it, etc., etc. But don't just think that, that's it, we'll never touch these levels again, because I think we definitely might, and we actually might even go lower. That's a very real possibility. So all that being said and done, again, moving averages, EMA well below that, Bollinger Band hovering the red part of it, pretty much bouncing off of it at the moment, which is great. So I think the next few days will be pretty interesting to see what happens in this kind of tight range, because at the moment we're kind of getting rejected here, like, at lower levels, but we're also like holding this kind of 620, 625 level. So we're kind of getting tighter and tighter and tighter. So as we get into this kind of little area right here, this is where things can start getting a little interesting, and we can probably see a fairly explosive move coming pretty soon. So we'll see what happens there as we get there, probably next week. And the final thing, of course, is going to be the moving average, the 5-day moving average. You can see we closed above it, but again, this is why I have my 3-day rule, because it doesn't, you need a lot more than that usually to really consistently confirm that a potential reversal. Like this was a decent one here. You can see we closed above it, then we had a nice little run up, kind of bounced off of that, followed up with another run up, which was great, and then we just collapsed under. So you want to be really careful still, right? It's not, this doesn't mean everything. Like you want to combine this with other factors ideally. The 10-day moving average, of course, you can see we're still below that as well. Definitely want to stay above both of these. Once we can get above that, we want to stay above that. Extremely important. The volume today, in line, nothing crazy, nothing, not low, but not high, just, in line. I would say 35 million on a fairly red day, pretty red day. So that's nothing too unusual. You can see we got rejected by the median here on the RSI. So we're pointing straight down, which isn't ideal, which is why I don't think that tomorrow or anything like that is just going to be like straight green, straight red, or rather straight green, to the moon, whatever. I don't think that's going to happen. I do think that we're going to get some consolidation, probably trade within this kind of range for now. It's kind of 660 to 620 range. I wouldn't be surprised if we stay within that range for the next couple of days, roughly, before a potential hopeful move to the upside, as long as we defend this kind of 620, 625 level. That is by far the most important level for me. Now, in case you're wondering what I've been doing, so on my TSLA account, that tax-free account, whatever you want to call it, that we have in Canada, I was in full cash. I remember I told you guys a few days ago how when we were somewhere over here, I think, or something like that, I ended up selling. And even on this rally here, I was holding. Even on this, I did buy a bit, and I sold it up here for like hardly any profit, honestly, but it was like not much. But I resisted the urge to buy, and I purposely held it because that money was specifically meant for if we ever revisit this kind of 620X line, or area rather, which we did today. And I started stocking up. So I bought a bunch of shares, about like 50 shares, pretty much. I started buying somewhere around at this level that we closed, and I bought 10, then I bought 10, and then I bought like 30 down here somewhere, pretty much near the bottom, actually, like at 627 maybe. So yeah, I bought that, and on top of that, on my main account, I put it in cash to sell a cash secured put, essentially using the same cash I used before, because I bought back the previous one I sold before over here, I think it was. I can't remember if it was here. I think it was on this candle, actually. Yeah, on this candle I sold the cash secured put. Then on this candle I bought it back, and then I resold it here again today. And then what I'm selling, I'm personally selling the 575 for the 15th of July. Just sold one of those for now, and if we go any lower, I'll sell another one. But yeah, that's currently what I'm selling. So essentially, as long as we're above 575, I just take the premium, it's mine, or I can buy it back if we do start rallying for like half off, let's say. That's kind of the play there. So I'm personally entering some bullish positions here, because I definitely think we're going to look, I still believe we're going to get a rally. I know that might sound ridiculous, that sounds like I'm just kind of a crazy person almost, but I mean the market is really good at doing things that you don't expect, which which can also mean that I'm very well wrong. That's extremely possible, but we'll see what happens, of course. As of right now, I'm not too worried. Again, as long as 620 is defended, I'm not worried. If we happen to break 620, I'll probably sell a bit of a loss on that account, and then probably rebuy once we get lower. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm seeing, guys. There's not really a whole lot more to talk about that I haven't talked about. We can take a quick look on like the 15-minute chart over here. You can see not a whole lot happening here, to be completely honest. I mean, there's a bit of a bullish divergence on the 15-minute chart. You can see, we are making a higher low on the RSI, which is good, even though we made a lower low here. compared to these levels here. Like for instance, this low level over here was at 19, even though we were sitting at like 645. Here we dropped down to 634. This only went down to 25. And now we went down to 26 and a half. And this one even lower than that. So even though this is keeps going lower, 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 this is going higher, higher, higher. So that is something to keep in mind. That to me is a good sign. We'll see what happens. But as of right now, again, it might seem crazy. I might seem like a crazy person, but I'm still leaning kind of potentially bullish. Only, again, short-term bullish, not like overall long-term, but short-term bullish for a bounce. I'm still thinking it's going to come. I'm clearly putting my money where my mouth is. If something happens, then obviously I'll take a bit of a hit. But it is what it is. I think we will get a bounce. I really do. But yeah, we'll see. Not financial advice. Let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll see you guys for tomorrow's updates. So until then, peace.